Renault's been gunning for the top spot in the electric car market for quite a few years now. The brand kickstarted its assault back in 2022 with the Megane E-Tech Electric, a car that proved electric family hatchbacks don't need to be boring. It's also since launched a retro chic revival of the iconic Renault 5 Super Mini. And we've driven it, it's brilliant, we love it. Plus, there's now an even hotter Alpine badge version that promises to knock the Mini Cooper SE electric hot hatchback off its perch. But here at Parker's, we've been waiting for Renault to reintroduce a properly sensible family car, a car with the same kind of clout as the original Espace. And it seems the brand's finally answered our prayers with this, the new Scenic E-Tech Electric. We love the new Scenic. Few other cars in its class can deliver the same blend of practicality and performance, and the fact it can keep its passengers comfortable and its driver entertained is cause for praise. Plus, you can buy the Scenic using Renault's outstanding 0% finance package. At the time of recording, the cheapest deal the company offered cost just £219 per month, making it just 50 quid a month more expensive than the bargain hunter's favourite, the MG4. You get a lot more for your money with the Scenic though. In fact, we love the Scenic so much that we made it our medium family car of the year and our overall car of the year in our 2025 awards. Keep watching to find out why. Renault used to offer two versions of the Scenic, but the brand axed the cheaper model in the UK due to slow sales. The old entry-level version had a 60 kWh battery and a 170 horsepower electric motor, which gave the car a 0 to 62 mile/hour time of 8.6 seconds and a maximum range of 260 miles, and that was perfectly acceptable. But the top spec model is much better, which is probably why nobody bought the base spec car in the first place. It has a massive 87 kWh battery pack and a punchy 220 horsepower motor, which slashes the car's 0 to 62 mile/hour time down to 7.9 seconds and bumps its maximum range up to 379 miles. Renault kept the Scenic's trim range simple too. There are just 3 models available, and all of them are well equipped. The cheapest Techno version features 19-inch alloys, adaptive LED headlights, a rear view camera, a 12-inch infotainment system, a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, and Renault's snazzy, ingenious rear armrest that has built-in USB chargers and phone holders. More on that later though. Above that is the Techno Esprit Alpine, which comes with larger 20-inch alloy wheels, some black exterior trim, electrically adjustable sports seats, and some Alpine badge trinkets for the cabin. The top spec iconic Esprit Alpine model also gets 20-inch alloys, but you get way more comfort features such as heated front seats, a Harman Kardon stereo, and a massive panoramic sunroof. You also get a few more safety features like a 360-degree camera and hands-free parking. Renault did an excellent job in here. In a strange way, it reminds me a bit of Alfa Romeo's early 2000s interior design language in the way that everything's angled a little bit towards the driver. It's a small touch, but it really helps to make the cabin feel that little bit more special. I'm especially fond of the infotainment system. Renault partnered with Google to produce it, which is a good thing because it means it works and looks a lot like Android Auto, and that's a really easy system to use. Plus, it's also got built-in support for navigation apps like Waze. I'm also a massive fan of this. Look, you get physical buttons for the climate controls, which is a really rare thing these days. They're far easier and far safer to use than the idiotic touchscreen controls you get in the Volkswagen ID.5 and the Ford Capri. No, I'm sorry, because this is the thing that annoys me the most about modern car design. So instead of just twiddling a dial down here to adjust the temperature, I've got to divert all my attention off the road onto a screen in the middle of the dashboard to fiddle about with the bloody temperature, which means I'm inevitably going to rear end the car ahead of me. Instead of just twiddling a dial, you've got to about with a stupid iPad. I'm sick of it. Sorry about that. Getting back on track, it's also quite eco-friendly. Renault says 24% of the Scenic materials are recycled and that 90% of its materials will be recyclable once the car reaches the end of its usable life. So, the doors and bonnet are made from recycled aluminium, the floor mats are made from recycled plastic bottles, the seat upholstery is made from repurposed fabric, and half of the glass in here is made from melted down glass manufacturing scraps. And despite that, all the materials in here feel like they've been lifted from a premium motor. I also love this button here. It's a shortcut to the car's driver assistance menu that lets you save your personal preferences and deactivate the bits of safety tech that you don't like with a single prod, such as lane assist. Now, Renault's lane assist system is far from being the worst in the market, but if you spend a lot of time driving on country roads like me, it's still going to annoy you because it isn't quite sophisticated enough to recognise the lack of white lines, and it'll be constantly moving the car around in its lane to try and put you in a lane that isn't there. So that little button works wonders for my blood pressure. Just in case you didn't know, Parker's now has its own car insurance price comparison site. We run this exact Scenic through our tool and found you could insure it for as little as £490 a year. To find out more, check the description for a link to the website and a breakdown of our terms and conditions. To find the right car insurance policy for you, simply compare prices in less than 5 minutes using Parker's Compare. Now, let's get back to the Scenic, namely its practicality, and it's here that the car really starts to get into its stride. I mean, this thing's fantastically spacious for its size. So it's got a similar sort of footprint to the Ford Explorer and the Volvo C40, but it's got a hell of a lot more room for your stuff. You get 545 litres of boot space, which is 75 litres more than the Explorer, and a massive 132 litres more than the Volvo. I mean, that's brilliant. Crucially, that means the Scenic's boot capacity isn't far behind the 585 litres you get in the Skoda Enyaq. Granted, that little bit of extra space you get in the Skoda will probably be welcomed by families with young children, but Renault has filled its car with some extra practicality features to make up for the shortfall, starting with this. Now, this isn't your common or garden armrest. This is a Swiss arm e-rest. It's guaranteed to keep your kids happy. So it's got cup holders here for the bottles of Prime. It's got 2 USB-C ports in here so they can keep their phones topped up and keep scrolling through TikTok for longer. And when they get bored of doing that, it's got phone mounts here so that they can watch films without having to hold their phones. You know, providing their attention spans can take it, that is. There's loads of space back here too. I'm 6 foot tall, and look at the distance between my knees and the seat ahead. I mean, it's palatial. Also, there's a lot more headroom than what you get in the back of an Explorer, and because Renault's mounted the rear bench higher up than what you get in, say, a Model 3, for example, your legs aren't quite as scrunched up, and your view out of the front is a lot better, which means travel sickness shouldn't be as much of an issue either. The way the Scenic drives caught me a bit off guard, if I'm honest, because for a sensible family SUV, it's actually quite a lot of fun, and that makes it stand out from a class of rivals that are largely forgettable. Why is it so good? Well, it's based on the same platform as the excellent Megane E-Tech, and it's fairly light by EV standards, weighing somewhere between 1,800 and 1,900 kilograms. For reference, the longest range Skoda Enyaq can weigh as much as 2 tons, while the equivalent Peugeot E3008 is more than 2.1 tons. That means the Scenic suspension isn't being asked to control as much mass, which means it's far more eager to be flung down a twisty B road. And because it has reasonably firm damping, when you do want to have fun, you won't feel seasick. It's remarkably composed for a car of this sort. It isn't without its flaws though, so the suspension's really good at keeping the body upright in corners and shrugging off sharp bumps, but it can get caught out when you drive it over lots of imperfections, one after another. Get this thing on a badly surfaced motorway and the entire car will rock gently from side to side as the load gets passed from one side to the other. I mean, it's just a little bit unsettling. These aren't deal breakers by any stretch of the imagination, but they're slightly annoying if you plan on doing big miles in the car. If you want something that's more settled but not as fun to drive, try a Skoda Enyaq. Getting back onto the positives, the Scenic steering's great. It's sharp off centre, it's really well weighted when you put it in sport mode, and it's surprisingly communicative, which is unusual for EVs of this sort. And to illustrate my point a bit better, I'll pick on one of the Scenic's biggest rivals, the Tesla Model Y. Its steering is woefully numb, which makes it difficult to gauge how much lock you need to round a tight corner. The Tesla is also quite fidgety on the motorway, as you're constantly making minor adjustments to keep the car tracking straight in its lane. But you get none of that with the Scenic. It's relaxed to drive on the motorway and engaging in the corners. There's one more thing I should mention before I move on. It's how quiet it is in here. I'm doing, 60 mile an hour down this road now, and there's barely a peep from the tyres, the electric motor's damn near silent, and there's not a lot of wind noise whipping around the pillars. I mean, listen. The silence means that you've got a fighting chance that the kids are going to stay asleep in the back on your way home from your weekend away. Unless, of course, you're blaring heavy metal, like I would be. Honestly, it's such a cracking all-rounder. 300 miles of range, good to drive, loads of space, comfortable most of the time, and you can get one on finance for less than 220 quid a month. If you're shopping for a family car, why would you bother with anything else? Renault's really got its transition towards electric cars off to a fantastic start. The Scenic builds on the strengths of the Megane, adding more range, more space, more tech, and screamingly affordable finance offers. It's one of those few cars on sale today that's almost without fault. If I had to nitpick, I guess Renault's competitor brands offer sportier trim levels and more powerful motors on their electric family SUVs, with cars like the Skoda Enyaq VRS and Volkswagen ID.4 GTX. But I've never felt like I was missing out on performance with the top-spec Scenic. Those door handles are also a bit irritating to open, but that's about it. I reckon it more than deserves to wear the Parker's Car of the Year ribbon for 2025. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Would you have a Renault Scenic E-Tech Electric as your next family car? I want to hear from you. If you want to learn more about the Scenic, head over to parkers.co.uk where you can read our detailed 6-page review of the car. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our awards page so you can find out why we're raving about it so much. We've linked both in the description box below.